我既然年龄是超过30，但是我可以把自己的人生作风修炼成仙，把我的职业操守磨练成佛，让广大务工人、广大民众有为之感动。
The sound of drums echoes, and the supreme immortal makes his grand entrance. Why not call him Immortal Brother? Because we, mere mortals, are not worthy of approaching a god like him. The immortal's spiritual level can only be appreciated by two kinds of people: those who admire him so much they bow to the ground, and those who laugh until they're out of breath. However, no matter how far he distances himself from the world and bathes in his aura of holiness, in the end, even his hair has been cultivated away, and yet he is still looking for a partner. The immortal is strict with himself, following 4 do not participate rules, while his ideal partner must meet 6 requirements and align with 3 perfect standards. Before meeting the female guest, his eyes wandered toward the more fashionable girls. But upon seeing her, he said he preferred women with a bare face, without any makeup. Something the guest said made him get up and leave. But when the misunderstanding was cleared up, why did he suddenly shift from an aloof immortal to a desperate flatterer? In today's episode of Fangkun Night Talk, let's take a look together at the immortal's world, which you probably don't understand. If you enjoy this type of video, don't forget to follow. Hello everyone, I'm Pang Hong from Yunjin, Daxian. I graduated from the Sichuan Institute of Electromechanical Engineering, and I'm in my early 30s. After much effort and struggle, I now work independently in network technology. I'm over 30 years old, but I can refine my way of life to become an immortal, and my professional ethics to become a Buddha, moving the hearts of workers and the public. With hair flowing in the wind, the immortal hides his true age well. After this introduction, my sense of reality nearly collapsed. After all, it's not only young people who suffer from main character syndrome. When middle-aged people go wild, it's even more dangerous. Although the immortal is already 35 and unmarried, in the past he was known as the most handsome young man in many surrounding villages. Back in school, the principal's daughter wanted to marry me. You can even interview her if you like, but I didn't agree. Later, I went to work elsewhere. The boss had several daughters, but at that time my mind was only focused on working and making more money, so I didn't think about dating or marriage. Now, working in Shenzhen, even 17 or 18-year-old girls whose parents know my character and way of life have shown interest in marrying. The problem is, the immortal's time is running out, but his requirements remain unique. If the woman has only completed middle school, the ideal age is around 20. High school education, 23. College degree, no older than 27. In other words, I'm not looking for someone my age, I only like tender young grass. He also demands good morals and 3 final requirements. Speak like a news anchor, walk like an athlete, and work like a waitress. Even the 7 fairies of the Queen Mother's palace wouldn't meet these standards. Today's victim knew nothing and arrived at the meeting. To create a romantic atmosphere, she sent a close-up photo of her eyes and a lipstick kiss mark so he could identify her in the crowd. Using these clues, the immortal immediately dismissed the real guest and set his sights on a passing beauty. Good taste he has, self-awareness, not so much. Seeing the situation, the guest had to introduce herself to end the awkwardness. He explained, "I chose based on the eyes and facial features, so I eliminated you. My impression was average. To enchant me, you'd have to be above average." She didn't criticize his looks and introduced herself. But the moment she said she was a makeup artist, he fired back. "I don't like makeup. I prefer a natural face. It's a personal preference. Maybe outdated." Strange, because he had been staring quite a bit at the made-up beauties earlier. When she mentioned her own criteria for a partner, he seized the chance to give a speech. Be kind, live in harmony with everyone, walk with nature and the sun and moon. I refine my life to become an immortal, a metaphor for achieving perfection in the real world. The woman was left confused. But what does that have to do with anything? Suddenly, he blurted, "I think your health isn't very good." This coming from someone balding before 40. He asked if she'd ever had a boyfriend. When she said no, he replied, "Lie," and pressed further. She said she'd only had one relationship and had never married. He said, "We can talk about that later." In other words, everyone understood. The host then explained that this relationship was just an innocent school crush, nothing more than eating lunch together and passing notes. Upon hearing this, the Immortal's attitude changed instantly. He expressed interest, showed off his physical strength, and even took her out for a walk and snacks. And, shockingly, he insisted on paying the bill the same man who minutes earlier had acted so indifferent. He was already talking about visiting each other's families during the new year, while she hadn't agreed to anything. In the end, at the final act, the hand-holding moment, the woman didn't show up. Even then, he kept his composure. "I'm just an ordinary citizen, but among the more advanced ones." And, as if nothing had happened, he said goodbye while giving transport directions, still calm. Congratulations to the guest for dodging this bullet. As for the Immortal, will he ever find his true goddess? In the end, our supreme Immortal isn't just a man on a dating show, he's a walking sitcom episode. Every gesture, every line, every contradiction is like a perfectly timed punchline, except he doesn't realize it, and that's the magic. He walks in with the aura of a wise master, like he's just descended from a mountain after years of meditation, ready to bless the mortals with his philosophy. 2 minutes later, he's scanning the room like a hawk, locking eyes on the most dolled-up women despite claiming to despise makeup. It's that kind of selective vision that could fuel an entire season of comedy sketches. Then comes the romantic part. He sizes up the poor guest like she's applying for a job at his temple, tossing out requirements that sound less like dating preferences and more like a military checklist. But the moment he learns her past love life consists of nothing more than passing notes in school, he transforms instantly. The Zen monk disappears, replaced by an overeager Romeo who suddenly wants to carry her shopping bags and buy her snacks. The man's emotional gear shift could snap a transmission. What makes it even better is how sincerely he believes in his own narrative. He talks about refining his life into an immortal with the same seriousness you'd expect from a TED Talk, except halfway through. You realize the advice is coming from someone who just tried to turn a blind date into an instant family introduction. It's the perfect blend of self-importance and cluelessness, wrapped in a robe of poetic metaphors. And let's be honest, this kind of character is a rare treasure. In a world full of overproduced reality, television drama, here's a man who doesn't need a script. Life itself is his script. The unintentional comedy is so rich, you could bottle it and sell it as a mood booster. The guest may have left empty-handed, but we didn't. We walked away with a story that'll be replaying in our heads every time we hear someone talk about high standards. And who knows, maybe somewhere out there, there's a woman with the patience of a saint, the agility of an athlete, the politeness of a waitress, and the age range of a university freshman ready to meet her supreme immortal. Until then, we'll keep enjoying the show. If this saga made you laugh, cringe, or just sit there thinking, is this guy for real? Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell. Because if the universe has more characters like this waiting in the wings, trust me, you're gonna want a front row seat. See you in the next video.